I've got my real food sister here with me, my South African meat sister, all the way over in London now. I love Louise Benning. She is a meat activist who puts her meat where her mouth is. She puts her money where her mouth is. She works with people offline, like IRL, hands-on, helping people in the community, and she can tell you more about that. And online. Her South African carnivore group has nearly 23,000 people at the moment. That's a public group. And then she has a private meat reset group. These are both on Facebook, and that's a small private group. But the thing about Louise is that she's putting out information all the time. She is hands-on. She is elbows deep, honey, in this work. And that's what I appreciate. That's what we need to do. Be out there, getting the word out there, and then having some practical tools that one can also apply, that you can give people to help people to bring them over. And then Louise also has her carnivore group, Carnivore Women Worldwide, and that group is bustling. That, Louise, is where I see you working in real time because I see your posts as they come up. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get our chicken drumsticks. My angel, my meat sister, Louise Benning. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for coming and chatting with us. And please tell us a little bit more about yourself as well.
Hello, my meat mother. Well, yeah, well, how did we meet? Somehow online we've met through posts, and this is where you were saying we have to keep spreading the word. And if we didn't keep spreading the word, we would never have met. So I feel really, really privileged to have met you. So, so good. And here we are. Now we can spread the word online as well.
So, you know what I would love you to tell us, just in a nutshell, because you have told me, but what is the hands-on work that you're doing? Because I know that there's a lot of it going on for you in London.
Yeah, so I've become a ambassador for the Public Health Collaboration, which is a local charity, and we do real food advocating. So we're not prescribing to a diet as such, but in the realms of real food, we do get the carnivore lifestyle as well, which I believe, you believe, is the ultimate. So I work with patients on the ground in my local GP surgery and helping them know what metabolic disease is and how we can not necessarily reverse it, but heal it or improve it by a real food lifestyle. But I've got my own story, and that's how I got here. I didn't just become a real food lifestyle coach because I was healthy. I was myself in a very, very bad place. I was obese. I had metabolic syndrome. I was spending a lot of money on medications and going to the GP, and there's always a pain and always an ache and never knowing what the answer is. Trying all the diets under the sun, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, soup and shake diets, anything that to try and get rid of the weight. Nothing ever worked. So yes, we've all got a story, and that's why we come to this, because we've got a health story. It's not necessarily being overweight. It can be underweight as well. It can be autoimmune conditions. But what we find in this community is people come for a reason. We are sick and we want health.
And we've been looking and looking. That's the thing that I find. Tell me if I'm right, that the people who come, by the time we find carnivory is so hidden from us on purpose that by the time we find it, we've been through the gamut, the smorgasbord of trying all the different medications, trying all the different, what's it called? Not modules, modalities, all the different doctors, all the different,
Holistic treatments, anything.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can tell me go and bath in a mud puddle in wherever, like Outer
Oh my bad.
Hebrides, and we would do that.
I drank my own urine. There you go. I
We
did the
try
Demi Moore
anything.
diet back in the day. After my baby was born, we had the little purity, those little baby food jars. Because I was so metabolically, and I always knew it's the answer is at the end of my fork, or in that case, at the end of my baby food jar. That phase didn't last long, but I think it's an indication of how desperate we get, coupled with that innate knowledge. What you put in here, this is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So just tell us, please, your biggest wins. Give me your three biggest wins. I mean, besides the fact that you look so chic, so stunning, and really like the epitome of carnivore zen, meat zen. Yeah.
Well, from the outside, I lost 30 kilos. So that's a lot of weight that come off my frame because I'm 1 meter 60, so I'm not that tall.
Hmm.
So visually, that's my biggest win. And now being able to go into any shop and I pick up a size 8 top from the shelf and I know it will fit. Where before I would go into a shop and even at 18 and a 20 was getting to sit really tight and dig into every roll I've got. So, that's my biggest win aesthetically.
Nice.
Mentally, the clarity, the calmness, the zenness, whatever, make up these words.
Mm.
You cannot explain it to people. They have to experience it themselves.
Yeah.
People think it's such nonsense. What do you mean about this? The carnivore calm. I can't explain it. You have to experience it for yourself.
It's
The strength of, I think, fasting for 5 to 7 days. Again, people cannot imagine it. I would never have thought about that in my whole life. 5 years ago, I would have thought you're totally nuts saying that to me. Now, I just feel like it's just normal life. And why is everybody not doing it?
beautiful.
And the third thing is the influence, the rippling effect it's got on people. So people now see me and they come to me and I want some of that, Louise. Please help me. So I've now helped so many friends, no family. Family thinks I'm batshit crazy.
Well,
You
if you
know?
think of how many people are on the planet, you're likely that you are going to get a handful that's going to come to the healing side. But with family, you've only got a handful anyway. So the pool is small, and all you can, I mean, look at you. Or,
And that's it. So when people see
and
that,
if they don't
they
want
want
that,
the
then they
same.
don't want it. It's called willful ignorance. That's
I
what
agree.
they willfully, but that's great. So what you're doing is just attracting the people who wanted that. For me, that's the same ethos for me. It's like I can put out some, all I can do is be myself. People who saw me before, there's no comparison to who this person is. And do your thing, do your work, and the people who want it will come. The amount of people who've come to me and said, please help me. And 2 days later, boy, they ghost you. It's scary. You and I were desperate. It's called the gift of desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
And
desperate
that's it. We just
and we
now
did
live
what
the
we had to do.
lifestyle. Yeah. So we just now live the lifestyle daily,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's become my new identity. And then people begin to see that after a while, you can't unsee what you see in front of your eyes happening.
And if you are, then you're doing it on purpose. And that's, not everybody's at the same on we're not all running side by side in this. Everybody's in their own track and will get their healing. So anybody who's watching now, please, 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 like, yeah, follow our example and listen to yourself. Listen to
Yeah.
your body. But the only way to do that is to start turning down the volume on the food noise, and that's what meat certainly helps. So I'm so happy that I've got you here, Louise. I think for you to be over there in London, South African meat sister, for me to be here, for you've connected me here to Yana, who's into like, I think if I would say anything for you, you're a meat activist and a networker of note. You like connecting people, and that's so beautiful. I love it. Viva.
Yeah,
Viva.
it's and that's the thing, there is no barrier. Even the distance isn't a barrier.
Because we now have this I mean I love the internet. I love the speed at which, oh sorry, hold on, can you hear that massive truck?
But
Living in the country, you don't, there's no traffic, but boy, every now and again there's like just a massive truck comes past. So let's get to the subject. And this was a topic that Louise brought, and I just thought it was absolutely stunning and right on point. Because what Louise was saying to me when we first decided to do this was, I wish I had not started the carnivore diet before doing these things. So Louise, I'm going to let you introduce the topic and tell us what are the things that you wish that you had known to do before you even started. Take it away.
yeah, so what I wish I knew before I started the carnivore diet. It's maybe not what I knew, it's what I now wish I've done. So I wish I wrote down all the symptoms I had, all my health ailments, how much money I spent on takeaways, on medication, on doctor surgery, appointments. Although I'm not paying for an appointment in the UK, we still have to drive there. That costs fuel, the tickets for parking, because yeah, we've got to pay parking everywhere. All that money, how much did that cost me in my state of sickness? All the tablets I'm taking over the counter that I'm always buying, vitamins and minerals from the health shop. All these, I was living a vegan type animal, not an animal-based lifestyle, but a plant-based lifestyle. So the cost of fruit and vegetables and eating all the plant-based meals because it's healthier for me and the environment. If I had a tracking system where I then, before I started, could have added up the cost of all these things, and then also a baseline of all my blood markers, maybe photos of before and after, because I would never be in front of the camera. So I've got very few photos to show how bad I was. And none of us want to be in front of the camera. But before we start this, if you've made that decision, maybe just take a step back and write down all the ailments you've got. Write down how much money you're spending every month on your current lifestyle. Take photos for your personal use, because one day, now I don't feel ashamed posting any photos anymore of my before compared to my now.
Because now they are before pictures. Yeah, now they are before pictures, but before they were your now pictures, and all you wanted was what you have now.
There you go. If we could only start this journey with this pool of information,
our own little personal
like,
database.
hey, so
Like,
if I had skin tags on my neck and on my eyelid, taken close-up photos of this dry patch on my big toe that I had for, I don't know, 20 years that would never go away. Then one day, suddenly, in the carnivore lifestyle, you look down one day and it's gone. And I'm like, so I've got no proof of that dry, irritating skin patch that was very odd.
yes.
But if only I knew it back then, I would have taken photos of it.
And back then, you weren't even bothered by it because it was the least of your problems. You had so much else going on that in carnivory, when that symptom, because it's a symptom, disappeared, you didn't even notice you had it until you were like, where is it? Exactly. Okay,
Bleeding
so far you're saying you wish you'd taken photographs. You wish that you had written down the amount of money your lifestyle was costing you and what you were spending on what, including doctors, etc. And you were talking about blood markers. Tell us a little bit about that. What
So
markers should anybody who's starting, like what's the absolute baseline?
I think your blood pressure, obviously, and I think a lot of us have machines at home, or you can go to your doctor and get it done for free. Get an HbA1c test, which is the way they diagnose diabetes, because our HbA1c is actually a snapshot of how sugary your blood has been over the last 3 months,
Okay.
which is very important. And then get a full lipid panel test, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. If you get those numbers, and even if it doesn't mean anything to you at the time, we get those numbers, we get the full blood count, your liver function, your kidney function, only as a starting point.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
have to mean anything to anybody, but once you've
Right.
got that, because a lot of times I work with people, I say, what was it back then? They're like, I don't know.
Mm.
But now they're healthy and they've, 2 years down the line on carnivore. And they also wish, if only I knew what it was back then.
Right. Right.
So get
Exactly.
these blood tests, have these numbers as a baseline to start off with. And then in a year, 2 years, we can look back at them and go, how much you have improved.
Yes. Louise, can I ask you a favor? Would you write those in a little bullet point and send them to me, and then I can put them in the caption?
Yeah,
Okay, so
no
we'll
worries.
write it below the practical information. What else, Louise? Anything else?
So your height and waist circumference,
Right.
because a BMI, you can take your BMI as well, but the height to waist ratio is more important because our body composition changes so much on carnivore that the scale might be a different story. The
Mm.
numbers don't change, but suddenly your clothes sits looser, the
In
inflammation
different
goes. So take
places
take
and
take measurements around your neck, your waist, your thigh. Build yourself a little history book of where you are now, so you've got something to look back at
Yes, beautiful.
in months and years to come.
I love it. Do you have any other ones for us?
Keep, keep your biggest clothes. Keep something that you can look back at, that you like
Right.
hanging up, that go, I used to fit in that. Look at it.
Yes.
Because I got rid of all my clothes and luckily I found one top.
And
Just
you'll keep
one,
it
luckily.
forever. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it forever. And it's that top that sat so badly on me. And I've got a photo of it. So that's one photo with this top. And it's so good to use in my courses that I deliver to patients where I can demonstrate, here's that photo,
beautiful.
and here's that shirt that I'm holding out like this.
I love it.
So keep yourself an item of clothing or two, so you've got
Yeah.
that you never want to go back to that.
Mm, I love it. So, when we were having this whole discussion about what we're going to advise people or what we're going to offer people that they can benefit off, I had been working on this. This is a 5 page at the moment. Listen, it's not full, but this is a meat healing tracker. So when I publish this interview, this won't have been completed yet because I'm working with it and then I want to obviously make it look fabulous. But in the meantime, I wanted to use this, Louise, so that I can read you some of the stuff on here, and I'm going to take everything that you've said as well, and I'm going to incorporate it here and put a nice little footnote. Thank you, Louise Benning. Okay, so what I'm doing with this is I want to give people like a little workbook that they can use and or not use. Not everybody's going to need every single thing, but basically going through it, it's a meat healing tracker. So you can either have it as a handwritten journal, which is how I do everything. Um, and then here's a whole lot of different ways you can put together, because a handwritten journal can even just be a clipboard with a piece of paper. But for me, as long as it's kept in the kitchen, as long as it's kept where I do my fooding, then I can come in and just quickly write down what I've eaten in that day or as I'm munching it down. And then the second thing, so the first thing would be a handwritten journal. The second thing would be my Meet Mother worksheet that I'm busy working on here now. And then, because you are like you're a kid, you're a digital kid. I have here, I like analog, but my meat healing friend Louise uses the following. And then there's nothing there. Tell us now, Louise, tell us how you use that. What's the whole vibe around that?
So that's just a Fitbit. So this is the Fitbit, but you get various sort of these tracking watches that measures your sleep, your exercise, your heart rate variability. Gosh, there's so many markers on there that you can put on.
Well, let's see which ones we get out of here. Okay, so you're saying,
Exactly.
so for you, that was absolutely more than enough. You've got everything exactly where you need it, and you're just tracking everything as you go.
Yes, and you can also get downloads on your phone, MyFitnessPal, so you can track food, how much you're intaking. So again, it's everybody's individual, like you said
Yeah,
earlier. We don't know where we are on this track,
right.
It's not a sprint, it's a marathon for life. So we have to just do these little steps. So some of us, nobody wants to track, fine, you don't have to. Others of us, like, we need to track, we want to keep measuring and
Yes,
following the data. That's also fine.
right, right.
So we
I
have to do
found
what works for us.
Well, I found that a lot of mine wrote itself as I was healing. So, like your dry skin on your toe, I had keratosis pilaris or whatever. This little patch of weird chickeny skin on the inside of my knee. I had it my whole life. I had it from a teenager. Think it was into carnivores probably, but not more than a few months, maybe 6 months, in that like honeymoon phase. And I'm still like all headachy and I'm still out of it. And my brain fog hadn't even started to clear at 6 months. But other things were clearing. That's why I stayed with it because, and as it cleared, I wrote it down. So
Yeah.
my list has grown at 3 years, when I had my blood tests and that said I was completely healthy, no disease. Um, at that point, okay, well, let me not get all over the show with it, but yeah, because you and I can literally talk forever. So these are the ways that you can decide how you want to track whatever works for you. And please put a comment if I've left something out, but that seems to, yeah, cover it. And then Louise, you're talking about photographs. Photograph every symptom that you can, every angle of your body that you can. If your feet are swollen, photograph those cankles, honey, just to say goodbye to them. Because swollen ankles it's not, I'm overweight, I've got no, babe. It's a symptom. Every single thing that doesn't feel baseline, normal, calm. You shouldn't feel it. You shouldn't be feeling your body. You shouldn't be feeling, oh, my lower back and my shoulder. You know what I mean? Oh, these problem areas. Your body should be even, yeah, even when you get old. Eh? You don't get old as a carnivore. You just get, your body gets older, but you don't get that old vibes. Okay, so you're talking about photographs, and here I'm talking quite a bit about video as well, because I love video so much. And I had a little stockpile of videos in my Instagram, and then for some reason, they just closed I wasn't allowed into my Instagram anymore, and I lost all those stories that I made when I was lying there like sick and crying, lying in bed crying with my arm up like this, trying to open the curtain behind me so that I could just get a tiny little bit of light, because that was all I could handle. So video yourself, video your before testimonial, and you could even go so far as to make a weekly log. So you say every Sunday, you're going to make a pathetic little 3-minute video where you lean over your camera and just say how terrible you feel and just let it all out and cry and whine, even if you want to. I wish that I had that, just to look back and go, oof, shame. And before me would be so happy if she knew what present me was doing for this me, for future me, which is present me now. Okay. So video your intentions, video your state already, and then write down your intentions and your goals. And to me, if you write down your short-term goals and your long-term goals, but you might not even have long-term goals, your short-term goals might literally just be, I would love to get out of bed.
Yeah.
That was my short-term goal.
We all have a reason why. We
Huh?
all have a reason why.
Yeah. These are your goals, are your whys, because your goals are the opposite of what's happening right now. And then medical history, including medications, vitamins and supplements, and whatever you're getting at the moment. Like write down everything, the name, the dosage, what it's for, when you started, and side effects. And I don't think there are any carnivores running out there saying, get off your medicine, get off your medicine. No. But what happens, and tell me, Louise, if this is not a common story, you go, I haven't taken, hold on a minute, when last did I take this? Or, oh, you start feeling the medicine. You take it and you're like, ooh, you start to really, and you realize, no, I can't, this dose is way too high. I can't. And then you just naturally evolve out of it. So, and that's when you start seeing your side effects. Then trackable measurements, I would say weight, inflammation, and bloating. And then other ones, and I've written a whole lot of lists: skin, discharge. I know you're oozing from somewhere, baby. Your energy, what's your energy scale, sleep qualities, all of these things. Then blood sugar, ketones, blood pressure, resting heart rate, menstrual cycle notes, which I think needs its own whole little space for like women who are still menstruating. Luckily, that's not me. Oh, God. I nearly bled to death. And I wonder how much of that had to do with my diet. But that was 2016. They just poured out the whole thing. Oh, God, it was a mess in there. So that's a whole thing we need to go. And then food history. You're talking about writing your history. Write your history, because now you're rewriting your history. Previous diet style, the common daily foods, food reactions and intolerances. And then there's a little bit for everything. I really, fasting, if you're feasting, if you're timing that, your drinking habits, what are you drinking? Are you still on the dreaded caffeine? Like me, I am. And then symptoms to heal. If you're healthy, because if you come into this healthy, like for example, a friend of mine, very sick, gay couple, they're married. The one husband is super, super sick, and the other husband's not. He's still raving, but he's also doing it, and he's also seen, hold on a minute, I didn't even know that that was wrong with me, because all of a sudden that isn't happening anymore. People who think they're healthy and good for you, like, keep going for it, but there are miracles buried in carnivory. If you're healthy, list your reasons. If you're experiencing symptoms, not if you're sick or diseased, you are currently experiencing symptoms, and thank you, meat is going to help you to no longer be experienced, to put them in remission, whatever. And then if you've written down your symptoms, you might want to go, when did they start? What makes them worse? When do they feel better? What is the pattern of this, the rhythm of it, you know? And then, very important, even though I've buried it at the back, it should be right in the front, because this is your food tracking. What do you buy and where do you buy it? So you create shopping lists, a basic list of everything. Fatty, so this is your carnivory, this is like your strict carnivory shopping list. Fatty beef, lamb, eggs, tallow, duck fat, chicken fat, or ghee. If you're not doing dairy, some people do dairy. So you create your shopping list and then you build it out more. So like, what do you shop for at the supermarket? What do you shop for at the butcher? What do you shop for online? So a lot of these things, it's stuff you're going to write down once and then you never have to think about again. And then your current meal tracking. What was the meal that you ate? What was the amount? What was the time? And how did you feel afterwards? How did you feel while you were eating? Not everybody's going into such detail, but I imagine that when you start listening to yourself, your instinct starts to guide you. That's why carnivores often, then they become concerned with the ecology. Then they become concerned with what are the school meals? Like, we start to see the world in a very different way. And then right at the end here, I've just got a whole list of options, including your sleep, your pain, your energy, digestion, and bowel movements need their own whole thing, because, baby, we don't read tea leaves, okay? We read our poop. Swelling, mobility. What is your mobility? Because I had none. I mean, I could barely close my hand by that.
Range of motion. How far can you, not just mobility, but range of motion. So
Right.
important.
So this can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And what I think I need to do is to put a freeze on it at some point, put it into design and put it out, and then it can always be updated. But for now, it's been such an absolute pleasure to talk to you about all of this, Louise. And if you're watching this and you're getting anything from it, all Louise's contact details, all of her stuff will be in the caption, so you can find her. And with me, consider me your meat mother. I'm here to stay carnivory all the way, even when I do the odd oopsie into keto, which, to be honest, I do have a tiny nut hangover right now. My bad, my bad. I know not to do it. I did it anyway. So none of us are here telling you that we're perfect. Okay, what we're telling you is that we're practicing, and we're practicing on an ongoing basis and sharing what it is with you. Louise, is there anything you'd like to wrap up with?
We just want to say that there's no one size fits all, although we know there's a spectrum, and nobody has to come in here being perfect. It's a journey, and we're here for support, not to judge.
Exactly. Thank you, my darling, my sister, my cook sister daar in die Londons. Lots
So
and
funny.
lots
We're
of
gonna meet
love.
one
Hey?
day and give a biggest hug ever.
Wow, I can't wait to meet you. Ooh, girl. We're going to break some bones there, hey? Okay, lots and lots of love, and lots of love to everybody. Subscribe, do all those things for YouTube, click likes and blah, 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 so that we can get word out there. Meat heals. Drink your meat, eat your water. kidding. Bye.